Hello viewers, welcome to my channel. I'm Hasham Ali Khan. In this video, I'm going to explain to you the selective method of controlling the inventory. There are different methods of controlling the inventory. So already so many videos I've explained you EOQ method and stock levels are there. By using the EOQ method, stock levels, the ultimate aim is to control the inventory. That means inventory should neither be excessive nor there should be shortage of inventory. Minimum of investment should be made in inventory. So the other techniques are called selective inventory control techniques. So in this video, and this is the last video of theoretical aspect of stores management. From next video onwards, we will start the problems on stores control and inventory management. Now, in this video, selective inventory control. There are different methods of controlling selectively the inventory items. So before explaining in detail, take the screenshot of the points which I have written on the board, then I'll explain. Now, see here, there are thousands of items in the inventory of medium to large industries. There won't be a single item of inventory. In the stores, we will have so many hundreds and thousands of items in the inventory. So we cannot be able to give equal importance to all the inventory items. So the items are of different types. They vary in size, value, complexity, necessity. From different factors, the nature of the inventory will be different. All the items are different. So it is not possible to manage all the items with equal control. So every business cannot give equal importance, equal control on all the items. We have to categorize the items into different classes, and different control techniques should be used on different items. Thus in such a case, selective inventory control are used. So if such a situation is there, then selective inventory control techniques should be used in order to control the inventory items. So some of the key selective inventory control techniques are ABC analysis, XYZ analysis, VED analysis, FNSD analysis. These are the few techniques. These techniques are called selective inventory control techniques. One by one we will study. In examination, very frequently theory question may also be asked regarding what are the different selective inventory control techniques. So you must know the concept of each of the technique. Now first one is ABC. The most commonly used selective inventory control technique is ABC analysis. So what is this ABC analysis? Now I am going to explain. ABC analysis is the technique of exercising selective control. That means we are not treating all inventory items equally. We are selecting some items and giving more control, some items less control. The technique is based on the assumption that the firm should not exercise the same degree of control on items which are more costly as compared to those items which are less costly. So what this ABC analysis says, according to the cost, according to the value, we should give different control techniques to different items of inventory. Some items are costly items. Control should be exercised on those costly items. And then some items of inventory are less costly, cheaply. Then in that case, less control should be applied. Equal control should not be applied on all items of inventory. So according to this approach, the inventory items are divided into three categories. A, B, C. Now ABC analysis contemplates to classify all items based on three categories based on their values. So according to the cost, according to the value, we are categorizing all the items into three, A, B, C. Now first one, items of high value but small in number are classified as A items and which would be under strict control. First of all, A category items are those items whose value is more but the number is less. Few items are there but the value of those few items of inventory, the value is very high. Strict control should be applied on A category items whose value is more but the number is less. Next, C category, opposite. The opposite of A is C category. C items represent relatively very small value items and would be under simple control. Opposite of A, large number of items are there whose value is very less. So more items, less value. So we categorize it as C items. Least control should be applied on C items. Strict control should be applied on A category items. Now, items of moderate value and size are classified as B. In between A and C, A means the highest cost item. C means the least cost item. In between this A and C, we will have B category items whose value and number is moderate, neither high nor low. So medium control technique should be applied on B category items. Since this plan concentrates attention on the basis of the relative importance of the various items of inventory, it is also known as control by importance and exception. Because we are controlling according to value, more control, less value, less control. That's why this technique of ABC analysis is also known as control by importance or exception. Then it has been found that normal inventory item in most organizations show the following distribution pattern. If we study a number of industries, we will find out the categorization or pattern of value of inventory like this. 5% to 10% of the total number of items accounted for about 70% of the total consumption value. We are consuming, we are using the material in production. So almost 70% of the consumption value account for only 5 to 10% in the number. That means the number of items are only 5 to 10%, but the consumption value of those 5 to 10% items are 70% consumption value. So more consumption value but less in number. Secondly, and these items may be classified as A items. Then 10% to 20% the total number of items account for about 20% of total consumption value. These are B category items. That means if we see the consumption value, it is 20%. 20% of the consumption value. But the number is also almost around 20%. So moderate control should be applied on these 20% of items and we can categorize it as B items. The remaining large number of items account for the balance around 15% of the total consumption value. Now, apart from the A category and B category, large number of items are there. Large number of items. But the value is only 10 to 15% of the total consumption value. In other words, we can say almost 70%, 65 to 70% items are there, but their value is only 10 to 15%. And these can be categorized as C category. And least control should be applied on this large number of items. It would thus be observed that substantial and effective control are made only to A category items. Strict control, full control should be applied on A category item. There is no hard and fast rule that all inventory items should be classified only in 3 categories. It is not necessary that we can categorize only in A, B, C form. Even the organization can divide the inventory items into A, B, C, D, E, F like that. Number of more categories we can make according to the consumption value. Now, advantages. There are many advantages of using this ABC analysis. The first advantage, it facilitates selective control and thereby saves valuable time. If we do not apply this ABC analysis, equal control would have been applied on all the items. It will take a lot of time. Our time will get reduced if we classify, if we categorize the items into ABC. Time saved. That is the first advantage. Secondly, eliminates unnecessary paperwork involved in various control procedures. More paperwork, more effort more time will be consumed if we analyze all the items equally. But if we categorize into A, B and C, the paperwork can be eliminated. Our time will be saved, effort will be saved. Lastly, facilitate inventory control and control usage of stores material, which ultimately results in cost control. Finally, our ultimate objective of all these techniques is controlling the cost or reducing the cost of inventory. So if we apply ABC analysis, ultimately, finally, the total cost of inventory will get reduced. These are the advantages from ABC analysis. Now this much, if you write an examination, that will be enough to explain the meaning of the term ABC analysis. Now second is XYZ analysis. Actually, XYZ analysis is almost similar to ABC analysis. Not much difference is there between ABC and XYZ. The procedure followed for the categorization of this item in XYZ is same as ABC. Not much difference. The only difference between these two analyses is that in ABC analysis, the categorization of item is done on the basis of annual consumption value. Now this point you remember. The categorization in ABC analysis is made on the consumption, annual consumption value. Whereas in XYZ analysis, the categorization of item is done on the basis of inventory value of items. Inventory value of items in stores. What is the inventory? Not consumption value. In ABC analysis, we categorize according to consumption value. But here in XYZ analysis, we categorize according to inventory value of item. That means in the stores, what is the value of each type of inventory. XYZ analysis helps in controlling the average inventory value by decreasing the inventory of X items, which are about 10% of number of items stored and account for 70% of the total inventory value. So in X category, we will take those items whose value is more. That means almost 70% of the inventory value in the stores, but account only for 10% in number. These are X category. In the same way, Y items around 20% of the number of items stored and account for 20% of the total inventory value. Similar to ABC analysis, the number is 20% and the value, inventory value is also 20%. It is categorized as Y item. And Z item are 70% of the number of items stored and the account for only 10% of the total inventory value. Opposite of X. Opposite of X is Z, where 70% of items are there, but the inventory value is only 10%. So in this way, we can categorize X, Y and Z. So selective methods we have discussed, that is ABC and XYZ. Now the third one is VED. V stands for vital, E stands for essential and D stands for desirable. So in ABC and XYZ, we have categorized on the basis of value, either consumption value or inventory value. But here in case of VED analysis, we categorize on the basis of criticality of the items for production. Some items are very much critical, some are just essential, not so critical, some are just desirable. So in this way, all the items according to criticality we are classified. So this type of analysis divides items into three categories in descending order according to their criticality. If it is very much critical, then it is vital. If it is little bit critical, it is essential. If it is not so critical, it is desirable. So here V stands for vital items and their stock analysis requires more attention because out of stock situation will result in stoppage of production. So what the management will do, the management will see which items of material are very, very critical. If there is any shortage of those items, the production may get stopped. Huge loss will be incurred. So these are very critical items, so vital items. More focus, more concentration should be given on V items. Then E means essential items. Such items are considered essential, but without these items, the system would not fail. It's not as much critical as V items. Essential items are also critical, but the lack of these essential items will not stop the system, will not stop the production. Little loss will be there, not much loss. Care must be taken to see that they are always in stock. Last one is D. D stands for desirable items, and which do not affect the production immediately, but availability of such items will lead to more efficiency. That means if these desirable items are not there, it will not stop the production. It will not stop the system. But if we have those items, then the efficiency will increase. The production efficiency will increase. So these items are desirable items. Not much strict control should be applied on these D items. VED analysis can be very useful to capital intensive industries processes, as it involves analysis items based on their criticality. Particularly this VED analysis is very important in capital intensive industries where inventory items are controlled according to their criticality. So we have discussed three techniques: selective inventory control technique, that is ABC analysis, XYZ analysis, and VED analysis. The last technique is FNSD analysis. So it divides the items into four categories in descending order of their usage rate, how fast it is being used in production. So according to usage rate, all the inventory items are categorized into four classes. FNSD. F stands for fast moving items, and stock of such items are consumed in a short span of time. That means fast moving items are those items which are, very fastly it is converted into goods. That means it is fastly used in production. The rate of usage is very high for fast moving items. N means normal moving items. Such items are exhausted over a period of a year or so. That means those items which will be consumed in a period of 1 year or so, like that. It is not fast moving, it is slow moving, normal items. Normal items. Then S stands for slow moving items, existing stock of which would last for 2 years or more at the current rate of usage, but it's still expected to be used up. That means those items of stock which will be used in 2 years or more, like that. But it is expected that it will be used. So fast moving items are those items which will be used in a short span of time. That means within 1 month, within 2 months, like that. And normal means it will go up to 1 year. Then slow moving are those items which will be consumed in 2 years or more, but it will be consumed. D stands for dead stock. And for its existing stock, no further demand can be foreseen. That means items are there, inventory items are there, but there is no possibility of its usage in the near future. These are called dead stock. Now, stock of fast moving items should be effectively controlled. Out of these four, FNSD, the fast moving items should be controlled very effectively. There should not be any out of stock situation for F category items. Always the stock should be held for F category items. Slow moving items must be reviewed very carefully before any replenishment order are placed. Slow moving items. Slow moving items are those items which will be consumed in the next 2 to 3 years, like that. And it should be reviewed very carefully whenever a replenishment order is placed, because unnecessarily the stock will be piled up. The reorder level and quantities of such items should be on the basis of new estimate of future demand. So whenever we have to make the replenishment order for slow moving item, we have to carefully forecast how much is the usage required in the next 2 to 3 years. Accordingly, we have to place the replenishment order. Dead stock figures in inventory and represent money spent that cannot be realized, but it occupies useful place. Dead stock are those stock items which are not used in production, and there is no expectancy that these items of dead stock will be used in the near future, but it is occupying the space in the stores. Hence, once such items are identified, efforts must be made to find out all alternative ways how to use it. So if a business finds some dead stock, it has to find what are the different alternative uses through which we can be able to use this dead stock. Otherwise, it should be disposed of as soon as possible because it is not being used. That's all. So this is FNSD. So in this video, I have explained you about the selective methods of controlling the inventory. Different techniques, ABC, XYZ, VED and FNSD. So totally 5 videos I have made on theory aspect of inventory control and stores management. So next video onwards we'll start the problems on this topic of inventory control and stores management. But without watching these theory videos, I suggest don't go for problems. First be perfect about the theories, then only we can be able to start the problems. So inshallah in the next video we'll start problems on stores management.